Welcome to lecture number 30 of the series Unreal 5.1 for Archviz, and in this lecture we'll download some free models from different websites and then we'll use in this project for this bookshelf. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so here I am in this website cgtrader.com. You can find the link in the description. From this website we can download free models for our project. Okay, so I'll search for books. And as you can see that we have different models of different books that we can download and use them in the project, but they are paid models. Okay, so let's check this box to get free models. So yes, now we can see that we have different free models of different books that we can use in this project. Okay, so first of all, let's download the models of these books. Okay, I'll click on this thumbnail and let's click on this free download button. It may ask you to log in with a CG Trader account. In that case, just create an account and then you can download the free models. I will not judge your intelligence by showing you how you can do that. Okay. So let's now download this FBX file. I'll click on this download button, and to download the textures of these models, I can click on this download button. Okay. Okay, so we have downloaded both of the files. Let's select both of them and I'll extract them. Let's open this FBX file in our 3D viewer. And as you can see that we have some very nice good looking books that we can use in our project or our bookshelf. Okay, yes, and this is the maps folder in which it contains all of maps or textures. Okay, let's go back in Unreal Engine. I'll go into my 3D models folder and let's create a new folder. I'll rename this folder as books. Let's open this folder. Let's create another folder and let's import that FBX file. Okay, okay, so I'll select all of my static meshes. And I'll drag them into my scene. Okay, let's scale them down. Yeah, okay, I'll rotate this on z-axis by 90 degrees. Let's move this on x, and yes, I think the size is fine. Okay, now let's adjust this on z-axis and place these books on this surface. Or what you can also do is just press end on your keyboard. Okay, and it will snap my books to the surface below. Let's move this on y. Yeah, okay. Now, one more thing that you should know is that there is no shame in downloading free models from different websites. Okay, as long as you're good with modeling, you can always visit different websites and download free 3D models to save time. Because if you model everything from scratch, it will take too much time. Okay, so it's a good practice to download free 3D models as long as you're good with modeling. Okay, yes. So let's now jump back to CG Trader and let's look for some more books. Okay, let's scroll down. I like this one, so let's open this. I'll click on this download button. And I'll download this FBX file and these JPEGs because these are textures. Okay, let's extract this zipped file and then we'll have our textures. Okay, you can also import this FBX file in Blender or 3ds Max and then export it from there. Okay, so let's open Blender. I'll delete all of these and let's import the FBX file. Make sure you uncheck this box, okay, because I don't want to import any sort of animation with my FBX file. Okay, yeah, let's select this book and let's open shader editor. I'll create a new material. Let's add an image texture. Okay, and let's open this JPEG file. Okay, I'll connect this color node with base color. Okay, and I'll go into material preview. Now as you can see that we have a very nice texture on our book. Now I can select this book and let's export this in FBX. I'll rename this as magazine. Okay, let's select this blender to Unreal preset and make sure you uncheck this one and check this selected objects option. Okay, let's jump back to Unreal Engine. I'll go into this books folder and let's create a second folder and let's import that FBX file. Let's move this and drag it on this table. Okay, yes. Okay, let's add some materials to this table. Okay, I'll search for this material instance and I'll apply this one on these meshes. For the glass of this table, I'll search for the glass that I used for path tracing in my bedrooms. Okay, let's apply the same glass in here as well. I'll select the glass of my table and let's apply the same material. Okay, and we have some weird artifacts and this is because of Z fighting. Okay, so let's pull this up on Z axis. Let's try 0.02. Yes, and the reason you see two material slots in here is because I want to add a different material on the side faces of this glass. Okay, so let's create a copy and I'll apply this material on this slot. Okay, and let's increase the opacity to maybe 0.8, maybe 0.9. Okay, let's make this a little darker. Yeah, let's go into the modeling mode and let's set the pivot point for this surface and let's scale this down on Z axis. Okay, and I'll press end on my keyboard to snap it to the bottom surface. Yeah, yeah, I think now it looks much better. Maybe let's try 0.2. Pull this up on Z, press end on the keyboard to snap it to the bottom surface. And make sure your selected mesh is not penetrating any other mesh, otherwise snapping will not work. Okay, yeah, let's press end on the keyboard and now I can snap this to the bottom surface. Okay, I think this looks much better now. It will look even better with path tracing. Okay, let's go back to CG Trader website. Now, one more thing that I'd like to add is that we downloaded this free 3D model from CG Trader website and then use this in our project for our bookshelf. And we also downloaded the textures of these models. But this won't be the case for all of the other 3D models. Sometimes the textures won't be available with 3D models. Sometimes they will be available, but they will not be optimized for Unreal Engine like this one. Okay, this one was pretty easy because we had textures available. We just imported the FBX file. The textures were optimized for Unreal Engine. We simply imported the FBX file into Unreal Engine and then we dragged our static meshes into the scene. Okay, but this won't be the case for all of the other 3D models. So try to look for those 3D models that have textures available, if not optimized. I'll show you in a bit how you can optimize your textures for Unreal Engine. So make sure when you are downloading 3D models, they at least have textures available to them, okay? And don't worry if they are not optimized for Unreal Engine. I'll show you how you can optimize your textures for Unreal Engine in Blender and in 3ds Max as well, okay? Okay, so I've opened this website, polyheaven.com. You'll find the link in the description. And to show you how you can optimize your textures for Unreal Engine in Blender, I'm going to download this book set. I'll download this blend file. I'll open this blend file. Let's go into the layout tab. Yes. Let me enable my screencast keys. Okay. Yeah. Let's go into material preview. And to show you how you can optimize your textures for Unreal Engine, I will choose these 3 books. Okay. And then you can repeat the same process for the others as well. Okay. I'll press Ctrl I and I'll delete the others. Okay. Let's select all of them and I'll set the origin for these 3 objects to geometry. Okay. Let's move this on X. Yeah. Now I'll optimize these textures by baking them. If you already know how to bake textures, that's good. If you don't, just follow along this video. Okay. I'll select this object and let's create a UV map. Similarly, I'll select this one and I'll create a UV map as well. Okay. Now I'll select all of them. Let's bring in shader editor. Okay. I'll split this window and let's bring in UV editor. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I'll select all of them and let's go into edit mode. I'll select all of the vertices and I'll press U on my keyboard and I'll select smart UV project. Okay. Let's set the island margin to 0.01. I'll press OK. Yes. Let's create a new texture. I'll rename this as bake. I'll change my resolution to 4K. And I'll press OK. Yeah. Now let's select this object. I'll bring in an image texture node. Okay. And I'll choose this bake image. Okay. Yeah. Now I'll press Ctrl C on my keyboard to copy this image editor node and I'll select this mesh and I'll place the same image editor for this object and for this object as well. Okay. Yeah. Now make sure that this image texture is selected for all of these objects. Okay. And you also need to make sure that this UV map is selected for all of these objects as well. Okay. Now I'll select all of them. I'll go into render properties. I'll change this to cycles. Let's select GPU. Okay. Let's change this to maybe 60. Let's try 64. Okay. I'll go into the bake options and let's select diffuse. I don't want any sort of direct or indirect light. Okay. And yes, let's select bake. Okay, so now our baking is complete. Let's save this image. and I'll rename this image as bake. Now I'll select this object and let's create a new material. I'll remove this one and let's create a new material. Yeah, let's bring in an image texture. Okay, and I'll open and let's open this image that we just baked. Okay, I'll open this image. I'll connect this to base color. Okay, similarly I'll select these two and then this one, and I'll press Ctrl L on my keyboard and I'll link my materials. Okay, let's now select this object and let's now preview this UV map. Okay, I'll remove these two. Similarly, I'll select this one. I'll preview my new UV map and let's remove these two. I'll do the same thing for this book as well. Okay. Okay, so yes, now our textures are fully optimized for Unreal Engine. All we have to do is just export them in FBX and we're good to go. Okay. Now I'll select all of them. I'll press Q on my keyboard to export this in FBX. Let's rename this as baked book set. Okay, I'll select this Blender to Unreal preset. Okay, and I'll select this option. Let's export this in FBX. Let's jump back to Unreal Engine. Let's open this folder of books. Yeah, let's create a new folder and let's rename this folder as 3, and let's now import the FBX file. I'll select this FBX file and I'll open it. I'll select import. Okay, now I'll select all of these and I'll bring them into my scene. Okay, let's set the origin point for these books. Let's set this at the center and let's move them on x-axis. And now as you can see that we have successfully optimized our textures inside Blender for Unreal Engine. Okay. Yes, now I can move this on z-axis. Let's rotate this one. Okay. And now I can move this on y-axis. Let's place it right here. Okay, I'll move this on Z and I'll press N on my keyboard to snap it to the lower surface. Okay. Yeah, let's rotate this on Z axis. Similarly, you can find a perfect spot for these two as well. Okay, let's now learn how you can optimize your textures for Unreal Engine inside 3ds Max. Okay, now to optimize textures inside 3ds Max is actually pretty simple, especially with this Datasmith plugin. In Blender, you have to import your 3D models, then you have to bake your textures, and then you have to export your FBX files. But in 3ds Max, it's actually a very easy job. Okay, first, what we need to do is we need to download this Datasmith plugin for 3ds Max. You'll find a link of this page in description. Okay, let's scroll down and I'll click on get the plugins. And now let's download the plugin for 3ds Max. Make sure you choose the right version of Unreal Engine, okay? And let's download this add-on. And once the download is complete, I'll open the setup and it will pop up this window. I'll select next. I'll check this box. I'll select the version of 3ds Max that I have in my PC and I'll click on install. Let's finish the installation. Okay, so here we are in 3ds Max and I downloaded these books from CG Trader website. So now once we have installed the Datasmith plugin, all we have to do is select these books, okay? And I'll go into file and I'll select export. And let's export these books in Datasmith, okay? Now, if you don't find Datasmith export option in this list, then just cancel this. And in that case, you'll find this Datasmith option in here, okay? Just select this Datasmith option and I'll click on this export icon. I'll rename this file as books and I'll save them. And that's it, okay? Let's close 3ds Max and let's open Unreal Engine. Okay, yes. Now let's go into the books folder and create a new folder. And now inside Unreal Engine, you need to make sure that your Datasmith plugin is enabled, okay? I'll go into plugins and let's search for Datasmith. And make sure your Datasmith importer is enabled, okay? It may ask you to restart Unreal Engine, so restart it and then click on this plus icon. I'll go into this Datasmith option and let's click on this file import. Okay, and now I'll select this Datasmith file and I'll open it. Let's find a folder. I'll go into my 3D models, books, and folder number 4. I'll press OK. Make sure your geometry and materials and textures are enabled. Disable the rest of them, okay, and click on import. Let me increase my camera speed. And you'll find your books in here. Let me select all of them. Yeah, let's move them on x-axis. Yeah, okay. Okay, so now as you can see that we have successfully optimized our textures in 3ds Max, and then by using Datasmith plugin, we exported those 3D models with their textures for Unreal Engine, okay? Yes. Let me select this actor and I'll just delete this, okay? Yeah. Okay, so now you know how you can download free 3D models from cgtrader.com and then you can optimize your textures in Blender and in 3ds Max for Unreal Engine, okay? So yes, I think that's it for this video. I'll download some more free 3D models from cgtrader.com and we have another website known as TurboSquid, but I'll do this off camera, okay? I'll download free 3D models, optimize the textures if I have to, and then I'll import them in Unreal Engine, okay? So yes, that's it for this video and I'll see you guys in the next one.